know what time it is.
How it all works.
Come on.
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 How it
Yes, 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 yes. It's another Monday, 5:30 Central Time, 6:30 in the East, 3:30 in the West. How it all works. Yo, man, it's just, listen, can I just take a quick moment right here, right here? I don't even, this news I'm about to share is so fresh. I don't even have any graphics for it. And y'all know I'm a graphics guy. I love to bring in the visuals. But man, my good friend Diana Gladney, just like maybe half hour ago, posted in the Let's Get Live group on Facebook, and she was like, yo, my man Kirk is like 20 subs away from hitting 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. She's like, let's get it. Yo, in 20 minutes, in less than 20 minutes, I'm over that hump, y'all. 2,000 subscribers, y'all. 2,000 subscribers. Wow. I am just blown away. I know there's like some channels out there that got like 10,000 and 30,000 and 100,000, and y'all are like, what is this guy excited about? Listen, this is a personal goal for me and the crew, personal goal for me and my family, and I'm just so excited that we're there. And I'm also excited because yo, that's an M1 MacBook, fam. M1, okay? M1, it just came in. It's so fresh. I couldn't even get Ecamm on there quick enough to do the live stream for today. But look out for some reviews. Look out for some stuff coming up. That M1 MacBook is here. It literally came in today. Like, I wanted to hug the UPS guy, man. All this, social distance stuff out the window. I was like, yo, let me just hug you real quick, man. That joint came in. I was like, yo, 2,000 subscribers. Got my M1 MacBook. Let's go. Y'all know what it is. January, public relations, man. Social media was, bomb. Like, we did Clubhouse, we did TikTok. Yo, it was fire. If you didn't see it, you got to go back and check that joint out. Branding, the branding episode. Yo, the branding episode was so good. I actually went ahead and started chopping up pieces of the after party so that I could start sharing that with folks. So if you go to buymeacoffee.com/KirkRNugent, you're going to see that joint. The link is in the description of the video right here on YouTube. So hit that thing up. Plus, you're going to want to hit that joint up anyway, because the Zoom link for the after party for today's show is on buymeacoffee.com/KirkRNugent. Branding was fire today. Today, we've got photography. Next week, we're closing it out strong with web design. February is going to be the last 4 weeks, the last month, the last 4 episodes, I should say, of this season 2, How It All Works. So we're excited about that. This is what we're doing today. Let me take this off screen. This is what we're doing today. These are the 2 gentlemen that I have, Bryant Taylor, Elijah Leftridge. Yo, it's gonna be lit. Okay, take a moment right now. Share the link. I see some of you have already said, y'all, share the link. Yo, Vrenwood is saying congrats, appreciate it. Bevies, thank you. Kanig say season, yo, blind guy, Corey, Lakid, yo, thank you. But yeah, share that link. We got these guys on deck. They're waiting in the wings. They're like, yo, when is he gonna finish up? I got you. I'm coming. But yeah, what I wanted to say real quick, right before we get started, I wanted to put this picture up. Yeah, we're talking about photography and videography today. We're talking about it in relation to public relations. We're talking about it in relation to branding. And I'm just like, yo, how could we touch on this topic without paying homage to whose birthday we sit on, right? The entire country, if not the world, is paying homage to the great Martin Luther King Jr. and all that he meant and all that he stood for. And I just again cannot say enough about how photography has the ability to just capture the moment. And this is what our topic is for today. Yes, we're gonna be talking about photography in general, but I just wanted to show this powerful picture to kind of get things started. And then of course next week, Marissa Messick is gonna be on the live with us here at How It All Works. If you do not know her, trust me, do yourself a favor. Go on IG, follow her now. You want to check out her stuff. She is going to be coming to give a clinic. Branding, web design, that is right in her alley. Some of the clients that she's had, some of the work that she's done, phenomenal. So looking forward to having her on this joint. But yo, without any further ado, without any more talking, I want to get my first guest on here with me. Bryant Taylor is my first guest. And so right after we get this intro, BT is going to be on screen. DRBT to some, BT to others. Dr. Taylor, I don't know who calls him that, but this is one of my mentors. I'm excited to have him on here, and we're going to chop it up. So let's dive into it right after this. Yes. Yeah, I love the classes.
Kirk, man,
BT.
Kirk, that news was so bright, man. I had to protect my eyes, man. That breaking news was so fantastic, man. It was such fire, man. I had to make
Oh
sure
my
I didn't burn my
goodness.
corneas, man. Congratulations to you, my
Thank you,
friend. This
man.
is great day
Thank
for you,
you.
man. A great day,
It
great
is,
day,
man.
man.
It is. It's just, yo, it's mind-boggling, how these things come together, man. I see Jamil Adams is shouting out BT, Kanik's shouting out BT, Corey's shouting
Yeah.
out BT. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. I'm so glad to have you on here, BT. What's good, man? Listen, I know there is a large group of people who know you, who know your work, who know your impact. But I want you to just take a moment for those who are going to be watching with us live, some of my subscribers who may not be familiar with the greatness that is Bryant Taylor, but also for those who may watch the replay. We try to spread this thing like the leaves of autumn. We want to make sure that this thing is out there for everybody to see. Take a second, just introduce yourself to the How It All Works family. Let me just say before you do that, though, he is not new to us. He was on last season. He was not only on once, he was on twice. He was on the finale of season 1, and we had a blast. He was on the first episode, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
absolute
First
first
episode.
episode of How It All Works. You were on that joint. That's right. And to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
clear, if any of you guys hate How It All Works, this is the man to blame. If any of you guys love How It All Works, this is the man to congratulate, because BT called me up. Let me give this little story here. BT called me up and he was like, "Listen, I want to do a regular show." And I was like, "Dude, I'm actually thinking about doing that." He's like, "All right, well, yeah, go ahead and do it, and I'll be on there, and we'll just do it that way." I was like, "Okay," but I wasn't ready yet. You know what I mean? To start my show yet. So it was like, wait. But that one conversation was the impetus for me to get off my tail, get out here in these live stream streets and start putting out content, and it has been a blast. So BT, talk to the folks a little bit.
Well, I'm Bryant Taylor, and I've been in the communication field now for probably the last 15, 16 years. Served for two different non-governmental organizations as the communication director for those, and I am associate editor for a magazine, president of a national religious communication organization,
Yes, sir.
and I also pastor church where I am the media and worship pastor there. So just a couple of things kind of keep me busy, keep me in my passion, because I live at the intersection of media and ministry, and I have a good time being there.
I love that. Media and ministry folks. A lot of the people who leave comments on the videos that I put on this channel, a lot of you guys are like, "Yeah, I'm in the faith-based space as well. I'm a media director for my church. I'm trying to figure out this whole thing as well." BT is in the trenches with us. Okay. There's a couple other things that he didn't mention in that list, but I'm gonna leave him alone because it's gonna become apparent here in a second when we start showing off some content. But BT, man, listen, we're gonna dive right in. We got a lot of stuff to cover, a lot of ground to cover in this hour. But this is my first question to you. Listen, I know that your man, your path has been storied, right? There's a lot of different experiences, things that you've been able to have happen and to help happen, all right, through the methods of communication and media. So from those experiences, how important would you say is a visual image, right, in the overall public relations strategy? Right. And talk to folks a little bit, BT, about the difference between a photo and an image. Right.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Talk to folks. Come on.
So here's the first thing in answering that question. I will share with you this. If you take any audience, it doesn't make any group of people. Within that group of people, 10% of that audience or group of people, they learn by hearing.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they learn.
Mm-hmm.
You talk, they hear. 65% of that group learn by seeing.
Wow.
They're visual learners.
Yes.
They're going to see it. They don't need to hear a word. They just need to see it. The other 5% are tactile. They're kinesthetic. They learn by touch and feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how important is a visual to the overall
PR
strategy of
Mm-hmm.
PR strategy? It's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. Here we go. What if I put up these letters? I'm gonna do this. If I put up the letters KFC and showed you a picture of a taco, what would you think?
It's not right.
Something's wrong with that.
Something's wrong.
Immediately, you don't even see the taco. I just told you a picture of it.
Yeah.
Immediately you say there's something wrong with that.
It's got to be a chicken. It's got to be a leg. It's
Give me a thigh or a breast or something.
Come on, come
or
on.
something.
Woo.
But you come
or
so
somebody licking a finger or something. Yeah, go ahead.
A finger or something, right? So the image reinforces, it supports,
Wow.
it sustains, it establishes what the content of the words are.
Wow.
Without the image, you can read it and say, "Oh, okay, I got it." But you put an image up, and boom, it's there.
Wow.
The image you started off with of Dr. King of the memorial, it would have taken you 15 minutes to describe that to someone.
No way.
But everyone got it in 10 seconds of seeing it. Whoa.
Oh yeah.
It's right there.
It's right there.
It's right there. So that's how important the image is to the overall visual strategy of something. In many publications, a lot of people think that the most important person is the editor or the assistant editor. One of the most important people there is that art director.
Oof. Yes.
Upcoming layout, or I need some images for an article. Here's the feel that I want.
That's
they
the
don't
term
describe
they
the
use.
picture.
Right.
They describe,
say feel.
here's the feel.
Mm-hmm.
Here's
That's
the
good.
feel that I want.
That's good.
And so that's that. So now here is the difference between a picture and an image.
Come on.
A picture is just that. It's a picture. You pick up your phone, you snap it, it's there.
It's there. It's a picture.
It doesn't really do anything. Like, oh, that's nice. And you've seen it. You say, oh, that's nice.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But then someone has shown you an image and you're like, whoa. So here we go. I took a picture of a fire hydrant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I went into my friend's house to show him the picture of the fire hydrant.
Mm-hmm.
On his wall, he had a 24 by 36 image of a fire hydrant.
Image.
I never took my picture out. I never took it out. And I said, you need to teach me how to do that.
There's a difference. Yes.
Because the image evokes within you feelings and emotions.
Right. Right.
It draws you into it. At times, an image takes you back to something that you remember from before.
Right.
Or it will move you to something that you wish would happen in the future.
Yes. Yes.
An image. Yeah.
An image. Wow. Folks. Listen, we started off by this whole branding, this whole public relations month, I should say, with social media. We looked at some of the ones that, generally speaking, a lot of us may not be on. We looked at TikTok and Clubhouse, but we also looked at, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the rest. And we talked about how you can push in these spaces, your brand, your business, your thought, leadership, everything pertaining to whatever your message is, whatever you've been uniquely called to put out there. We talked about using these methodologies. The next week we talked about branding and the method of branding, which really just at its base means communicating effectively. Essentially what BT talked about with that whole KFC analogy, in terms of people need to immediately associate something when they see something. Yeah. That's effective communication. That's branding. That's branding. And we talked about Apple and we talked about Amazon. We talked about some of the things that they do. This week, we're not just talking about PR. We're actually talking about photography and videography, and we're talking about the experience around it. We're talking about how we can use these tools, these practices, these platforms to push our message, to push a message. Listen, folks, what BT just shared, the difference between a picture and an image, talking about photography as a whole, this is where we want folks to really land, especially as you're out there in these, COVID streets, trying to get across your message. You want people to immediately identify a specific thing. You want to take them into an experience. You want them to be impacted for the better, but you want it to be memorable. You want it to be indelible. You want to leave an impression. And that's what we're talking about with photography. Thank you so much, BT. My goodness. I'm seeing some comments here. I'm Blind Guy's wife. Their life says Bryant has an easy way of explaining things. I love it, and I understand it since I usually overcomplicate things. Thank you so much for that comment.
Oh, thank you.
I love this the title of this YouTube channel, SK's Crappy Catching Adventures. I've watched a couple of videos. I'm like, that's cool, man. Good looking setup, Kirk, and some good info. Thank you so much, man. Listen, BT, I want to bring up this other question. You know what the question is. I know what the question is, but I'm not sure if you want me to bring this question up or if you want me to bring up some pictures first. So, because the question basically says, give us some examples from your own experience where a single image was done right and had the desired effect. Now, I don't have that last image that you sent me.
No, that's fine.
But no. I do have these slides, and I want to shift to this scene real quick. And I want you to just take your time and explain what we're looking at. I know there's 4 pictures. There's 4 images on screen. I want everybody to understand there's 4 images. There's 3 across the top and 1 long one across the bottom. So there are 4 images on screen. And again, we're talking about, these are not pictures, to be clear. These are images. There are 4 images on screen. So go ahead.
So each of these was used for publication. The first one, the lady is doing a first person presentation and sermon on the woman caught in adultery.
Yeah.
And she's talking about how Jesus writing in the sand not only saved her, but transformed her life.
Come on.
And in the middle of that, she opens up her hand and she starts dropping out sand. and I was there, and I just held my finger on the trigger and just let it fire. And I just let it fire. I was using a device that we were in this dome here, the Georgia Dome, and I was down on the floor. I was using a device that was transmitting my photos wirelessly to up to the press booth. The editor of the magazine saw the images coming through. By the time I got up there, she said, "These are the 4 you got to edit. That's the cover of the magazine."
Wow.
And so she picked that image of the lady with the sand coming out of her hand as the cover for the magazine. The one in the middle was used by a national magazine because they were highlighting this church organization that had come to town and taken over the town.
Wow.
There were 80,000 people that would come, that were packed into the Georgia Dome. And so this is one of the photos that they used just to show that this many people were filled in the place. Now, this is especially significant to me because you don't see any stadiums that look like that anymore.
Right.
Yeah, there's nothing that looks like. The next one was I was in a church service and I saw them coming down doing communion, and I just got out with my camera in the middle of the aisle and just start shooting. This was the hand. This was the hand of a lady who was reaching in to take the sacrament of communion, and I could not share that photo with you. Ooh. Just because of the relevance of it and how strongly it speaks to restoration and a new life.
Come on. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now I let me, before you do the last one, we have a couple more pictures to grab as well. I'm just apologizing to Sister Tara and Tara Taylor for not having them individually. I put them all together in this scene already, so I cannot actually pull them out individually. So this is the way that I have to display it. I apologize for not having them individually, but I will take that note for next time to make sure that we are able to really hone in on what my guests are sharing. So my apologies for that, but go ahead and talk to us about this bottom image.
Isn't it great to have someone advocate for you? That's wonderful. That's wonderful. The bottom image is just what it is. Mm-hmm. It's homelessness in America.
Yeah.
And I shot it in color and I shot it in black and white. And I was trying to think of which should it be published in, and it had to be in color, because black and white gives you the fine art feel. And yes. I did not want the importance, the weight of the image to be lost because someone thought it was fine art. I
Wow.
wanted it in the words as the Winans brothers, as they used to say, in living color.
In living color.
I wanted it full so that it hit you, bam, oh my goodness, this is somebody sleeping
Wow.
on the street with, and they're just there. So that was one
Wow.
that just kind of stood out and caught me.
Wow. Wow. Let me bring up this other one. I know we got about 5 more minutes before we need to get
Okay.
Elijah on screen here, but let me get this other let me see here. There we go. This is the other set. Now we're going to save that bottom one for last.
Yes, the bottom one is the last.
Yeah. But talk to us about these other three.
The top left is actually the young lady standing up has a Glock pistol to the young lady who's kneeling down. That's
Yes.
a Glock to her head.
Wow.
And it was part of a dramatic play. And so she said, "Do you still love God?"
Wow.
was the question. And I wanted to portray it with where you could see the young lady who's making the decision, but the young lady with the pistol is very ominous. It's dark around her face. You can barely see her because it could be anyone, but it's just the focus was on the young lady making that decision. Do you still love God?
God. Wow.
In the midst of all of that. The second image there is from something that I had commissioned for something that we were doing for an outdoor service.
Nice.
And I
Got the
gave
bench.
I gave them the idea. I said I wanted to be where it is a autumn day, very relaxed, almost in a picnic style, and so the person came back with several images, and this is the one that we actually chose to go for that, to give that feel that we want to come, be relaxed, enjoy yourselves, and worship with us together.
Yes, and masks are required. I see that. Masks are required.
And masks are required. Yes, you had to have a mask.
I love this one. Talk to us about this.
The third image actually goes in that series with the first one of the communion. This is of the foot washing, and it was of two gentlemen, one washing the other's feet, and it was just that moment of humility.
Wow.
Where he's bending down to wash someone else's feet. There was no socioeconomic status. There was no, I'm this and you're that. It was, we are here together to be cleansed. I'm serving you to do my part, and then we will exchange. And so that image caught and held on to me.
That's gold. That's gold. That's gold. And of course, this Horain is yelling you out in the comments, but this image on the bottom here, iconic. When we talk about branding, when we talk about photography, we talk about public relations. This picture on the bottom, it represents so much. Without getting into any partisan discussion, but it just represents so much. To some people, it represents a time that they wanted to get away from. I'm just being fair now. But for others, it's a time that they look back to with reverence and with awe, and a time that they would like to recapture, given some of the things that have happened currently. This image speaks volumes because of what it represents. Talk to us about capturing this image. You took this image. I want people to. Did you?
Yes, I did.
I want people to catch that. I want people to know this. Every image that we are sharing are images that Bryant Taylor captured himself. So go ahead, Doc. Talk to us about this image.
So just one for people who are to help you move from a picture to an image. This is an example of the rule of thirds.
Yes.
Is what you want to use for every image. If you notice, you want to take whatever it is and divide it into so that you have thirds. Oof. The first third, the far left, is the presidential seal.
Yes.
The second third is the president himself. The third third, that's an interesting phrase there. The third third is the shadow.
That shadow
of him on the backdrop of the plane.
Woof.
with his wave and goodbye.
Killed it.
Um, that in itself was just a moving day for me,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
there to photograph those things.
That's amazing.
Um, it's no joke having to work through Secret Service to get something.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
they meet. I mean, I have a lot of press passes. Probably my most cherished one is my White House press pass for that day.
Nice.
Um, but they mean what they say, and they're not joking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was on a platform. We were a platform probably 200 feet from the plane, and they let us out. And the agent said, "This is where you stand," and that's all he said. Everything else was understood,
Everything
that
else
you
was
don't move.
understood. Everything else.
Um, and so
Somebody.
while we were waiting, I dropped a lens cap, and it fell through the barrier in front of me, 6 inches on the other side of the barrier.
Woo.
And I stood there. I stood there looking like, so do I reach through? Do I go around? Do I signal someone? What do I do? And it's going through my head. And I look off to my right, and a Secret Service agent is doing just like this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's enough of a message.
He's just staring at me.
Right. Right.
And he saw my conundrum. And so he did like this. He did like this. He said, like, put your hand through. I stuck my hand. I looked at him like, are you serious? And he shook his head, yes. And so I stuck my hand through and I picked it up, and then he went back to what he was doing. But it's that
Yeah.
serious about it. But yeah.
So I wanna capture this, and then we're gonna move on. There's a couple of people are asking what camera you're using, and they love the shadow. But one of the things I want to make sure this is clear is that yes, people will have different impressions when they see an image. It will speak to them in different ways, given their life experiences, given their culture, given their background. But the person who took the picture, who captured the image, who created this content, will have a different story behind the image, and that's what BT is able to share with us. And again, man, this is so powerful. This is so powerful. Somebody's asking, what camera are you using? What camera did you use probably in some of these photos?
Yeah, in fact, these were all taken several years ago. So this was a Nikon D 300S,
Oh wow.
a very older model. Yeah, it was a 300S from because of course President
President
Obama
Obama,
was
right?
president. So
Right. It's been a while.
but it was 300. No, I'm sorry. No, I take that back. I'm sorry. No. The Obama picture was the D4S.
Okay.
Was a Nikon D4S. Some of the other ones was the 300S. In honor of such an important day, I made sure and I went and rented the piece of equipment that I wanted to make sure that I would have no questions whatsoever about for that day.
That's what you got to do, man. That's what you got to do. I think you've given us several examples of what it looks like when it's done right. And I hope that people are resonating with this. I hope that as you're watching, you're getting that message coming through as clearly as possible. Chris McNish says BT is in the building. I'm excited to bring on our next guest. We're gonna run a video real quick, and one of Elijah's videos, and then we'll have him on screen with us to talk through that video and then to touch on these two questions. So BT, don't go anywhere. We'll get you back in here when the three of us are on screen. But I cannot thank you enough for the value that you've added and the perspective you shared in terms of photography as it relates to public relations and branding and this whole space that we find ourselves in. We'll get you right back in here just after we talk with Elijah. So
God's got you, but at the same time, we're not invincible.
Elijah
I feel like
Leftridge.
sometimes younger people, it's just like, we'll be straight, you'll be good, but it's like you just never know.
Man, listen, I've been waiting on the link up, man. I miss seeing my friends. I miss dapping my friends up. You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard.
I felt God's presence mostly in communion, so like at AY and things like that. And now that kind of got cut off because of pandemic, I'm like, I don't wanna watch church online.
Mercy.
I'm tired. I don't wanna sit and look at a computer and see people standing, just 6 people standing and singing, like it's uncomfortable. You know that there's nobody in the pews. Like, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that. My spiritual life has been in shambles for sure.
Wow. Here's one of the things I want to say to the audience. Just as Elijah takes a moment, he's gonna introduce himself in his own way, letting you guys know who he is, where you can find him and follow him, that kind of thing. But I wanted you to see that video, and I want you to notice something, that nobody in the video said anything about COVID-19 or the pandemic. They didn't say anything about wearing masks. They said nothing about being on quarantine or socially distanced. They were just talking about things they missed, things that they are tired of, and all of us were drawn into what they were talking about. I want you to catch that. When we talk about branding, we talk about photos, videos, getting a message across, being able to clearly communicate. It's the underlying message that we're trying to communicate. And I don't think it could have been better demonstrated than hearing the testimony of these young people who, they're going through it. And a lot of us resonate. We're there with them. Elijah, thank you so much for being with us on the show. It's so good to have you.
Great to be here, man.
Yeah, man. I've been wanting to have you come through for a while now. It's so excited to have you here. Talk to the folks a little bit about who you are, what you do, where you are currently, and some of the things that we've done, and then end off by sharing a little bit, some bits and pieces about the clip that we just watched.
Yeah, sure. What's up? What's going on, everybody? I'm a recent graduate from Oakland University who studied in photojournalism, and a little dash of Spanish.
Nice.
Si quieres hablar en español conmigo, llamarme, ya sabes.
Let's get it.
I basically just said, if you want to talk to me in Spanish, just let me know.
Okay.
Definitely need some more practice. So, yeah. But coming in as a freshman, I loved photography, and shooting at any event I could find. It wasn't until like my second year when I fell more in love with capturing visual space from different songs I was inspired by during that time. And so in those years as a videographer, I worked at a summer camp called Camp Alamisco. It's a little south of Birmingham. Have you ever heard of it?
I think so.
Okay.
A couple people are responding to you in Spanish in the chat, but go ahead, keep going.
Okay. Okay, stop it. My job is basically to simply make a recap video for every week news kids would come. And so they would have activities like archery, tubing, arts and crafts, horseback riding, and a whole bunch of other things. So I would film them throughout the week and put the video on DVDs for them to take home when they leave. And so during my last 2 years, I just did a lot of freelance work, like music videos, weddings, promotionals, and things like that. And in my last year, I had the amazing opportunity, I loved it so much, amazing opportunity to intern at a music label called Reach Records.
Nice.
And which is basically like a Christian hip hop label. There's artists like Lecrae, Andy Mineo, Triple E, all these different Christian hip hop artists. And so after that, I finished and came back home, and I started working at Publix for a couple of months, just to make ends meet.
Got you.
And as of right now, I'm just freelancing and starting my own small production company.
Got you. Listen, man, I want people to know where they can find you, where they can follow you, where they can patronize, man, because you have an eye and a talent. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. We want to get to this first question. Well, actually, before we get to the first question, just talk to folks a little bit about that video. Now, let me say first, as you're about to talk, that video was something that I downloaded. It was not the quality of the original. But I want to just apologize to Elijah on screen for not showing the top quality one. But the message of the video was of a nature and of an effect that I thought it was relevant to share with the audience. So that's why we shared it that way. But I know for videographers, they were like, yo, what happened to the video? No, that was on me. That's not on Elijah. Trust me when I tell you. His IG handle is right there underneath his name. Go and look at some of his work. Your boy is a beast, okay? He's a monster. I see Chris McNish in the chat. Y'all know what the time it is. Elijah, so talk to us a little bit about that clip and what the concept was around putting out that video.
Yeah, for sure. So that was just basically the students' cries, out for, the feeling of how life has affected them, in the midst of this whole COVID situation. I believe I filmed that in the summer of last year, and so, during the summer when a lot of us couldn't go out, that's how they were feeling.
Wow.
They wanted to see their friends, they wanted to, friends and family, and they wanted to go out and go to events, but they couldn't. And with my friend Keish, she probably doesn't know that I shared this, but yeah, like I feel her every time, every weekend on Saturdays, sometimes when I'm watching online sermons, it feels like that,
Yeah.
For those who haven't saw the clip, who didn't see the clip before, she was basically talking about how she doesn't want to have to watch a sermon, not because she doesn't want to watch the sermon, but because it's online every week, and because of COVID, we can't physically meet and actually praise and worship. So it's a completely different feeling,
Right.
And
Right.
I just want to encapsulate that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was gold. And I think, again, one of the things that we love about videography, photography, images, and visual storytelling is the ability for it to relay a message that otherwise would take you much longer to do. I mean, if that captured a moment in time, a moment that we're still very much a part of, but imagine 10 years from now looking back at that video and saying, wow, from whence we've come, right? I mean, that's an amazing space to be in. Listen, our first question to Elijah is going to be, as it relates to PR, what are some challenges videographers face in capturing a story? I mean, even as you are working with a client or working in the internship or working on different projects, I mean, people have a vision of what they want. It's got to be difficult, for a videographer to capture that story.
Yeah, man. One of the problems can just be miscommunication between the client and the videographer.
Mm-hmm.
And so usually the client has the upper right hand when it comes to the creativity of a production because, they're paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some times when a client might not know exactly what they want. So they consider some ideas or suggestions from the videographer. So if that's the case, that's when the client and videographer have to collaborate and have an understanding on how to move forward in setting the right brand message.
Wow.
And personally, I love to collaborate and bring both my ideas and the client's ideas to the table.
Right.
But sometimes there are other challenges such as disagreements or high expectations for the video or whatever product it may be. So, for example, my client might come up to me and say, hey, I want to shoot a music video in a nightclub. I might like the idea of it, but realistically, you can't, based on the budget for renting it out, the club's policies, etc. So if my client wants to shoot in something like a club, let's make our own little miniature version of that.
Right.
So we don't waste time searching for nightclubs that won't let us film,
Right.
and keep it G-rated, So,
I love it. That's what you're gonna have to do, right?
G-rated.
Get the same glass, but put in apple juice. You just keep it G.
Exactly, man. Just keep it simple.
But
so,
man, that is exactly the kind of thing that is relevant, especially to people who are watching right now, thinking to themselves, how can I use video to really, be a part of my PR strategy and be a part of my brand? I mean, the truth is, as you work with a videographer, there are going to be some creative, I don't want to say compromises. I'm just saying, I think collaboration is really the better term, because it is the marriage of the two ideas that are going to, create this end product. And that's a critical place to be and a thing to think about as you're entering into a project of that nature. And then, of course, there's a consistency. And I just want to think the piece that I really want you to hit on, especially having worked with Reach Records, there is going to be a certain branding from one video to the next, that they're going to want to ensure is consistent across that board, so that as people watch, they're like, man, this kind of, like, even without seeing the little note there, they can just look and be like, this kind of feels like and looks like a Reach product. So talk a little bit about some of those elements that you include into a set of videos to ensure that folks know this is us, right?
Yeah. So with Reach Records, they have. I don't want to dive too deep into that particular question because the next question is similar. But yeah, like you said, keeping it consistent is key because you want the viewer and audience to realize that this is you. This is unique. Your unique way of branding and how you share your work. So, also wanted to touch on another example as a videographer. It can be there can be sometimes limitations based from a Christian's belief. For example, if a random secular artist comes up to me and says they want to have a bunch of drugs, woman and money all up in the video, music video.
Right.
I'm gonna say no because I stand for what I believe in, for my beliefs.
That's powerful.
But the real challenge could be is if they said they would pay me like $10,000 for it. That's when I would have to ask myself, like,
yeah,
it's really worth it,
So because that again becomes part of your unique brand in terms of what do you do, right? What are some of the things that you're known for? And if people come to know you as not being a part of that crowd, if they see your name on something that isn't in line with what you have been doing, it does kind of create a dissonance. It creates a deviation from what they're used to, and that again is part of PR. It's part of branding. Let me get to this second question because I want you to be able to talk to some of the things that you learned while interning at Reach Records, and their techniques. In your time there interning at Reach Records, what brand techniques did you incorporate in some of the things that you picked up along the way, and then of course as an entrepreneur now, with your own production company that you're starting up and getting off the ground. And I hope folks are hearing me when I say we want to support this brother. We want to make sure we get, if you have a video project, this guy, let me tell you, he does great work. So hit him up. His primary way to contact him, that he has it right on the screen underneath his name, Elijah Leftridge. Hit him up. But yeah, talk to us a little bit about some of the techniques that you learned there in terms of branding at Reach Records. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, I learned so much from Reach Records. I spent like 5 months there, 5 months, So one of the branding techniques they used were, simple things like uploading their music on Friday nights. I don't know if anyone knows, but apparently based on analytics, Fridays are the best days for most artists to upload their music.
Wow.
So
that's good to know.
I know.
That's really good to know. I have been doing some testing with YouTube, and I found that Friday and Saturday are really the best days to put my stuff up as well. So that's actually really interesting. Yeah, man.
Got to do that. So, and another branding technique is as far as music videos, for the creative content, they want to create all of that first, and then have a set schedule for when they'll post. And then push them out on all social media platforms. So it's more, strategic in how they plan that.
Right.
And just a little bit outside of the branding techniques.
Right.
What I really loved, what they did on every Monday of the week, they would buy the whole staff lunch, like in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And like they would create a budget for it, of course, but they would buy the whole staff lunch. And as we just sat there and ate, we would, kind of talk a little bit. And then, first they have this thing where they play Swag Surf, with the surround sound studio that they got, and everyone gets all hype and, pumping and things like that. And basically they give out awards to those who were doing great jobs. So, they listen to that song, they give out awards, great job doing this, doing that. And so I thought that was a nice thing they always did. And I would say I grew better as an entrepreneur by just learning that in the music and film industry, and I said this in my quote, everything's about relationships.
Excellent.
it's not just about how skilled you are in a certain job that you hold, but it's really just about how well you work with others on a business and personal level. That's just one thing I've learned off the back. So
Man, that's a phenomenal segue, even for us to bring BT back in. One of the things I absolutely loved about what Elijah just shared there about relationships, it is about relationships. Like people think that the whole public relations space, videography, photography, branding, social media, it's all technical, it's ethereal, it's ones and zeros. To be clear, just what Elijah said is the crux of this entire month. It's all about relationships. And the relationship that people have to your brand is what emotions that it will evoke when they see your images, when they see your videos, when they see your pictures, when they see your content, when they see your logo, right? I mean, when they see your colors, there is a feeling that comes over them, and that is about the relationship that you're building. Even as we do live streaming, I'm constantly telling folks, it's about the relationship you're building. And I'm constantly looking at the chat because I want to make sure that two-way conversation is there. And I'm shouting out my guy, Big Duke, for his compliment of the whole build here, of how we're doing the show. But I mean, it's about relationships. It could not have been better said. And I thank you so much for sharing that, Elijah. And I'm so glad that we can bring BT back on screen here real quick. I'm just checking to make sure everybody's unmuted. Yes, we have everybody now. I want to throw this question out to the audience for everybody that is watching. How have video and photo impacted or influenced you in relationships to a brand or company? Want to throw that out there. Michael Francis is in the chat. Michael Francis has a really cool company. And their brand is very clear. I mean, you see those lawn signs in somebody's yard, maybe for a birthday, maybe for whatever, and you're like, there they are, Turf Tributes again. Turf Tributes is killing it, It's about the relationship. His company comes in at special times, especially during this pandemic when you can't, do things the normal way, and so people have a relationship to that brand that is like, oh, Turf Tribute's cool, they're doing something special for somebody. And again, you build a relationship around what you're doing with that specific brand. Now KFC may just be kind of like the chicken, but there's a relationship with that chicken now, there's a relationship there. But I want folks in the comments to just really read that question there. How have a single image or a video or a clip or something influenced you in terms of your relationship to a brand? So talk to us about that in the comments. But on screen here, I wanted to see BT, Elijah, if there's anything else you wanted to share in terms of this particular question that we're throwing out to the audience right now. Yeah. No doubt, Francis. We gotta shout out folks here, man. Turf Tributes is what's up. Go ahead, BT.
No, I was just thinking that there are, if you think about a brand that you really like, that you're connected to, that you support and you go back to, if you stop and think about it for a minute, it was either because there's a image that you remember from that brand, or the video that you remember from that brand. It's going to be one of those two things that happen. There's an image that you associate with the brand, or there's a video that you associate with that brand. And that video drew you in. It brought the feelings, oh yeah, I can do that, or I'm a part of that, or that's my lifestyle. So yeah, it does it in all those ways.
Yeah.
My hat goes off to Eldridge and to every videographer who can sit down and take that concept and create the emotional attachment to it.
Yes, Elijah, but yes, I just want to make sure
Elijah. Sorry, yes.
But
no,
I agree. Go ahead, Elijah.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I agree too. Basically that. And yeah, like one's brand, or business is very unique to themselves. So like you guys were just saying, like as God has gifted all of us with unique talents and gifts.
Yeah.
That's how it should just be. You shouldn't have to copy or think about doing it how another person may do it.
That's good.
Just stick to your own own way of doing things because God has made you unique, and so your brand and business should be unique to yourself, and to share that with others.
Absolutely. That is good. That is good. Listen, I got one final question for both you guys before we get into our plug your hustle section, and that is, advice. There are people who are going to be watching, who are watching live right now. I see, SK Crappy Catching Adventures. They're saying, I'm learning, but I do know it's a talent that's learned and is what it takes to be seen and listened to. The whole PR branding, and then using some of these things, using logos and using catchphrases. I know for me, I'm probably gonna have to at some point do an entire book on how I came up with this term, how it all works, and the whole idea and concept behind it, and some of the branding things that I've done. Some failed, some are somewhat working. So I'm still in the midst of my story, but there's people like me out there. There's others who are watching Turf Tributes in the comments. What advice do you, both of you guys, have on how we can use photos, videos to push our business or brand forward? What would either of you say? Either one of you? I know I've already received several nuggets throughout the conversation, but I'm just wanting to leave this open-ended to see, what would be some of those first steps, or what is the best step, right? The most important thing to focus on as we're seeking to push our brand and our businesses forward, using photo and video as a part of our PR strategy.
Yeah, man. Or Bryant, did you want
Oh, go ahead, Elijah.
Well,
Go.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, first off, you have to really have the mindset of being aggressive in achieving what you want. When it comes to photography and videography, you have to make mistakes in order to learn. You just have to. That's in everything, but for this, photography and videography, you have to.
Yeah.
And to push your business forward, you have to just believe in yourself, your work, and have self-confidence. And a lot of the times, it's just about making genuine connections with the community around you. As a photographer, when before COVID, hit the fan, you could reach out to people who host events, talk to your pastor about opportunities that are out there, and it's just all about reaching out and exposing yourself within your community so that your business and brand can grow.
Yeah, that's good.
So, yes. Yeah. So I guess mine would be, in terms of photography for your photo, is start out with your vision for that thing. What is the tone? What is the feeling that you want? And what is the emotion that you want to emphasize? Start out with that as your focus. Somebody asked in there what camera that I used. And so someone has always asked, what is the best camera that's there? Well, and I always share this little short story with them, Kirk. Several years ago, we were in New Zealand. We were in New Zealand, and we had a helicopter, and we were going to the top of Mount Cook on a glacier. I had about $15,000 worth of camera equipment with me, and I get up there, and I reach inside of my pocket for a roll of film, and I had left all the film on the bus. So there I am with $15,000 worth of camera equipment, and I had 2 shots on the roll of film in the camera and 30 rolls of film on the tour bus, 15,000 feet on the ground. And I looked over at my wife, and before we left to go to New Zealand, I had bought her a $100 pocket point and shoot camera, and she had 36 pictures that were on that roll. So. And those are the best pictures. Those are the only pictures that we have from the top of Mount Cook. So what is the best camera? It's the one that you have with you.
Oh my goodness.
And each of you have great camera with you all the time. I remember I bought my wife an iPhone several years ago, and she said, "Oh man, I need a camera like yours." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because yours takes better pictures." I said, "So you want to know something interesting?" She said, "What?" I said, "The camera that you're talking about is 4 megapixels. Your iPhone is 12." So it's
that balance. It's that balance.
It's the balance. The beauty of the image comes from the person who's taking it and the person who's beholding it.
Wow.
Create
Wow.
that image so that it moves you, it will move somebody else.
That is good. That is good, man. We're getting some really good comments here. Mike Francis is saying he loves what Elijah was saying. Crappy Adventure was saying saying thumbs up from the folks in the comments. Sydney Freeman is saying making us Jersey proud. Elijah, Corey and Lakita are saying Elijah is like a polite, quiet storm. Look at that, man.
Yeah, Elijah, the quiet prophet.
That's
Yes.
man. The quiet prophet. I like that, man. Kanika's agreeing that she enjoys that. Michael Francis, the quiet prophet. So some nuggets, and then I think Big Duke was responding to what you were saying, BT. So is Harain, saying Ultrafax. I mean, best camera is the one that you have, and again he Big Duke is agreeing again. New phones definitely have good cameras now, and Michael Francis was like, I love how you broke that down, and listen, you guys, this is a representation of the value that you guys have added here. I cannot thank you guys enough for taking some time out of your busy schedules to share with the audience today on photography, videography, and especially as it relates to our topic for the month, which is public relations. But I want you to take just a minute, both of you. Elijah, you can go first, just to tell folks what you got going on next, what projects you're working on, how can people find you, follow you. Of course, some of your stuff is on screen already, but talk to them a little bit about some of that stuff. And then I just have one or two little pictures that we want to dive into for MLK Day, and then we'll be done.
Cool. Yeah, I have a YouTube, an Instagram, Facebook, so just search me up, just my name, you can find that there. I used to have a website, but I'm really trying to save money, and the website is not cheap, so I kind of had to hold off for that for a little while, but so recently I've been doing music videos. I actually recently came from Orlando this past weekend to shoot for my friend Edwin Bliss. And he's been a great friend of mine, and it's like, I don't know if you've ever had the feeling of when you work with somebody on a project, whatever, on a professional level, it doesn't feel like work. That's the feeling that I always want. It's just something that's like you're just having fun. So that's how it's been for me these past couple of months. So
that's good.
Yeah, and
Thank you. We're gonna definitely make sure we put some of the content that he shared. We're gonna have it in the description of the video as well. So if you come back, you wanting to remember, it's like, how do I get in touch with Elijah again? Some of that content is gonna be in the description of the video. DRBT, talk to us a little bit about what projects you have going on. How can people find you, follow you, support what you're doing?
You can find me at DRBT on Instagram, DRBT_tech on Twitter.
Yes.
One of the projects that I stumbled on, literally, is I'm doing a project now on rock statues. You've seen at the beaches where people take rocks and they create these great statues and things.
Wow. Rock statues.
And these forms. With these things, and so I'm getting ready to upload some stuff now to Instagram from the last trip to the beach, where I literally stumbled on some rocks, and then I saw it. Whoa, look at this thing! But that's one of the projects that I'm working on. The other one that I'm going to start working on is I'm going to be recording wave sounds, the water crushing against the rocks, and some other stuff. So I'm spend some time at the beach with some recording equipment, a big boom pole, and shotgun microphone.
Oh man, at the beach. I'm jealous already. Listen, as we close this thing out, I want to pull up this picture real quick. You can still see the three of us on the bottom. I actually have two other pictures on top. I'm gonna take those down. You're looking at two pictures that are actually looking at one another. I'm pausing because first of all, it means so many different things to so many different people. When we talk about the civil rights movement, you're also talking about PR. We're also talking about photography, video. You're talking about branding. Not to say that those are the end goal. There is a larger goal that is the overall purpose. But when we look at this image, especially given today being the day that we honor and celebrate this man, and you know, there's just so many questions that come to mind, right, BT, right, Elijah? I mean, what was he thinking of as he sat for that picture? You know, what as he's looking up there out of the jail cell, like what was going through his mind? Did he see us, right, in 2021, in the current state of affairs and what we're going through and what we are experiencing today? Did he see, you know, a show host? Did he see a photographer? Did he see a videographer? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I feel like there's just so many things that could just be going through his mind right now.
Right.
I just feel like, man, I feel like he's just been through so much. He's trying to possibly like look at the rainbow across, you know, in the sky, or to see the bigger and better picture in the end. Because right now, as he sits there in jail, he's probably just down and upset. I mean, you can see in the other photo on the left side, he's ready to fight somebody. He's ready to just get out of there because he's been in jail for so many times.
Right.
Just going back and forth, and you know, in the midst of him just being there, I can just still see hope in the right picture, and him looking up. Possibly, I don't know if you can see from outside, but he looks like he's just looking out to you know, for God's signal or sign that there's going to be improvement. There's going to be a better day.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's
just
good.
better hope.
That's good. One of the things that is so powerful here, I know you're going to say something, BT, is just this line I'm putting at the bottom. One line from MLK Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail lives through Black Lives Matter, lives through BLM.
Yes.
And when he wrote it, he wasn't, you know, he wasn't trying to start a movie. He wasn't actually trying to do a catchphrase. It wasn't strategic planning. He didn't do a focus group to figure out if the term Black Lives Matter tracked well with a certain demographic. He was just saying the term because he really significantly felt that Black lives do matter, and that also sparked a movement. As BT rightly explained earlier, this is not just a photograph or a picture. This is an image. You see Martin Luther King here linked arm in arm. You're seeing an old school picture, but you're seeing Black Lives Matter on those posters, and a hashtag, MLK shut it down. That's not, none of the Black Lives Matter and the hashtag didn't exist back when MLK did this march. This is an image that was created to merge two movements, to bridge that gap, and it evokes a special presence and a relevance, a continuity. It bridges two movements. There's a lot that's done here. I know BT was going to say something, so I want to be quiet now, but I wanted to make sure to make that link for everybody in terms of what we're talking about in the entirety of this episode and this image that we're closing out with. Go ahead, BT.
Yeah, it was on the previous image with behind the bars. The old folks used to say two men sat behind bars. One saw the bars, the other saw the stars.
Wow.
One saw the demise of their situation. The other one saw the bright future that could be ahead of them. And so when I saw him, it's clear that he is not focusing on the bars. He is clearly looking beyond, way beyond that, to what can be and what will be.
Yeah, I'm seeing one or two comments here come up as well. Michael Francis has a comment there that's powerful, and then of course SK has a comment there that's powerful. And we're gonna close it out. And like I said, we just wanted to pay some respects to what we know was a great man, and the impact that he was able to have on this great country. But just, again, the power of an image, the power of photo, the power of video, to capture a moment, to disseminate and to communicate something that books cannot really capture what we're looking at right now. Right. It can only be done with a photo and a video. Visual storytelling is what we call it. BT, Elijah, I want to say a special word of thanks to both of you for being my guest today. Yeah. I
Thank
did.
you.
You guys provided so much value. I know several people are dropping off now. We're over our time, but I just want to say a special word of thanks to both of you guys for being on today and for, again, sharing from a very personal place. As we close it out, I'm just thankful. All right, thankful that you guys have been rocking with us, supporting us for the better part of this. This is episode 16 of season 2. Episode 16 of season 2. Thank you so much. We got web design next week, and then we have a whole final month, 4 weeks, 4 episodes in this season, and we're gonna wrap it up. But again, I'm hoping that somewhere in the episode today that you got a chance to, see that light bulb go on. I'm hoping that you've made your way over to buymeacoffee.com/KirkRNugent. The link is in the description of the video to be able to get your Zoom link so you can join us for the after party. I'm hoping that the light bulb went on in terms of this whole branding and public relations conversation as it relates to video and photo. Hoping that you saw some of the puzzle pieces come together. Essentially what I'm saying is I'm hoping that you were able to figure out how it all works. We'll see you in the next video.
How it all works. How it all works. How it all